Welcome to the Pursuit of Prevention podcast. My name is Bailey French, a Purdue-trained nutritional scientist and nutrition counselor, and today you will walk away from this episode with some tools to help improve your health. Because around here, we believe that you are not defined by your family health history. You can enhance your DNA and leave a new legacy of wellness for your family. If you are ready to take control of your health and win back the confidence that comes from knowing that each day you are preventing the illnesses that run in your family, you've come to the right place. Let's get started. Question for you. What does having a color analysis appointment and a nutrition counseling or a wellness coaching program have in common? Would you believe me if I told you that they both make you more confident in your skin? And when it comes to getting dressed in the morning, it helps you reduce the time you spend in your closet, and it makes getting dressed more enjoyable and exciting. If you're new around here, this is the Pursuit of Prevention podcast. My name is Bailey French. I am a Purdue-trained nutrition counselor and nutritional scientist, and what we talk about around here most of the time are health tips, things that you really need to know, ingredients, different types of food, how different chemicals and organs in your body react with the food that you eat. And that's really where the passion and the heart of this podcast live, as well as some fun interviews with other professionals in the healthcare space. But today we're going to talk about something a little bit different, a little bit fun, because if you're watching on YouTube, you might see that I'm wearing something a little bit different. Just recently, a couple weeks ago, my mom and I went and had our colors analyzed by Victoria Proscia in Charlottesville, Virginia. She is a House of Color consultant, and it was such a fun experience. I have known Victoria since last August. It's January 31st right now as this is recorded, and so it had been a long time coming when like 10 or 11 days ago, my mom and I went, and it's this whole process. It's a lot of fun. They drape you with all different kinds of colored drapes to see what harmonizes best with your natural God-given skin tone and your hair and your eyes and the contrast between all of them. It is so fun and so cool. Is it a little bit of a non-necessary thing? Absolutely. Could have probably lived my whole life without doing this, but what I will tell you is that since having my colors done, I don't have to guess what I'm going to wear in the morning. I don't have to think about, what is this going to look like on me? Am I going to put it on and hate it today? I know that's not going to be the case because these colors go with my God-given beauty. They make me feel more alive, more awake. My skin tone looks more even. It's color science is truly incredible. But the real benefit of this experience for me specifically has been one that if you are a young adult or a mother who has recently had a child or a man or woman who is entering into the later stages of life, if you know what I mean, this is where that true benefit comes in. Because I'm in a transition period right now, right? I am in my mid-20s with a birthday coming up in May. And that means that my body is very different than it has been for a long, long time. When I was in high school, I was a cheerleader. I had cheered competitively for many years. I was cheer captain. I was always active. I was always on the go. I was in weightlifting class. I was incredibly strong. I was incredibly thin. And my metabolism was incredibly fast because I was like 16 and 17 years old. And that's what happens. As you start to age out of that, this happens many times throughout your life cycle, right? We know as scientists that there are several different phases of the life cycle. Each of them come with a different metabolic phase, which means that your body is constantly changing. It is constantly adapting to the different hormone levels in your body. Now, the flip side of that coin is that, yes, there are ways that you can eat and live to better regulate those hormones so that this transition phase is not so severe. But what happened to me is that I turned 21 and the world was shut down because of COVID-19. And there was not much else to do in Northern Virginia besides go to breweries and wineries that were outside and eat and drink every weekend. And those were calories that my body was not used to getting before on a regular basis. Yes, I was working out, but the world was shut down. We were all working from the couch, right? A little bit less movement. And all of those extra calories and less movement added up to a substantial amount of extra body fat in places that I was not used to having it. And a lot of my clothes no longer fit me. But it was fine because, sweatpants, athleisure, right? We were hanging out at home. We didn't have to dress up. It was fine. Well, then it was not fine because none of my clothes fit me. And for the last truly 2 years, I have been trying to counteract that. The problem is that even after, we really reeled it in on the eating out and drinking situation, my hormones had changed. My body was different. I am a young adult now, not a teenager anymore. That means my metabolism has changed. My overall hormone levels are changing. I'm coming into that phase of life where pregnancy, lactation are in the future, and my body innately knows that. I'm not pregnant right now. I'm not trying to get pregnant anytime soon. However, biology will do what it's supposed to do no matter what. Right? And so the past 2 years have been a real struggle getting dressed. A lot of days I would change upwards of 3 times. I would put on my clothes and hate how they looked on me. The fit was not right. The color was not right. It just did not look good on me. And there have been times when I put on something that I was not comfortable in, that was either too tight or way too large to try and hide my body. And there have been a couple times where the plans changed or I did not do something that I really wanted to do because of the way that I felt in my clothes. A lot of that was mentally, a lot of that was from societal pressure. And as much as I would love to say that I've never had to struggle with that, I can't. And most of you probably can't either because we all grew up in the same universe. And as unfortunate as that is, what I do know is the science behind nutrition. So I may not be at my smallest size yet. I'm truthfully not at my strongest, healthiest place quite yet because that was a real intense period and I'm still working very mindfully to overcome and really let all of that phase, those couple of years go. That doesn't happen overnight. So patience, grace with your body is really huge in a transition phase like this. And then the other side of that token is that I personally decided that for my body, for my lifestyle, what feels best for me, I needed to do the long-term solution, which is building muscle at the same time as losing fat. And it just doesn't happen quickly. When you are doing a diet or specific eating plan, carb cycling, ketogenic, any type of diet, low carb, low fat, things like that, you are going to either build muscle or most of the time you will really just be losing fat. While there is nothing wrong with that, when you stop that diet and change your eating pattern to increase your muscle mass, which is truly where health comes from. There are so many studies out there showing that your skeletal muscle mass has a direct link to the number of years that you live, as well as how you feel during those years that you're alive. And I don't know about you, but I certainly want to feel really good as I age. I don't want to get to 50 and have these horrible menopause symptoms. I don't want to get to age 70 and have to be on 20 different types of pills to keep me alive, right? You probably don't either. That's likely why you are here listening to this podcast. So skeletal muscle mass is incredibly important when it comes to living long and living well. So when you go to switch out of that dietary phase and into one where you are truly building muscle, you have to change your eating patterns. Low carb does not work when you are doing really intense exercises where you are fatiguing the muscles. You are going to have a whole heck of a lot more pain, more muscle fatigue, longer recovery times. If you don't replace the glycogen within your muscles, that's where they get their energy from. And guess what it comes from? Carbohydrates. Things like rice, pasta, potatoes, bread, things that are quote unquote not allowed or restricted on dietary plans, carb cycling, ketogenic eating, things of that nature. So inevitably, when you go to change that, your body's going to gain weight. You're going to look a little different. You're going to fit differently in your clothes. And that can be really hard. You have to remember, one, that muscle weighs more than fat. So when you go to start gaining muscle, gaining some healthy weight, the scale is going to rise. There's nothing that you can do about that. And truthfully, if we could get rid of all the scales in the world, it would probably be a good thing for our mental sake anyway. So your weight is going to rise. Your clothes are going to fit differently. Now, the kicker with that is you can do both at the same time. You can lose fat and gain muscle simultaneously, but it happens slower. It takes a little bit more intentionality with the specific nutrients that you're eating, and that's what I coach my clients on. Unless they have a really specific goal, someone is getting married, they are pregnant, and they really need to gain some weight, unless we have that specific goal in mind for a health reason and something that they are really committed to, 9 times out of 10, we are going to be doing that long-term sustainable change within their diet so that they can lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. And the real benefit of that method is that it will get you to your strongest, healthiest self more quickly, even though it takes a little bit longer. Let me explain what I mean by that. So the whole process takes longer, right? When you are doing 2 things at once, when you are trying to really sort of multitask with your goals, it's just going to take a little bit longer than it would if you were dead focused on one goal, right? It's 100% effort on one thing versus 50% effort on 2 things. You'll get to the same result. The timing is going to be a little bit different. The benefit of taking the longer route and doing both at the same time is that your arrival point, your final destination of getting to that healthy body, feeling really good, winning your energy back, that will happen quicker than when you go 100% towards the one goal. And I know what you might be thinking, that just doesn't make sense. If you're achieving the one goal more quickly, how is that translating? It's because you still have to have that second goal accomplished. It's not just the one thing. So let's say you're starting with the fat loss portion. You go 100% into the one fat loss avenue, you get your fat loss goal. Okay, great. Now your clothes don't fit great. You don't feel great when you look in the mirror. You don't feel super strong. Now you have to build that muscle, build that strength back. Then you have to start over and go 100% towards that goal. So it looks like quick, drop back, quick. Whereas doing both at the same time is slow incremental growth, but where the one goal has the drop back, you are still growing, and that's how that happens. So you don't hit that setback, that fall back down a little bit, where you are growing and you are creating a gap between the 2 different really focuses here, the 2 different methods of achieving the same thing. So now that we've had a little Metabolism 101 course today, let's go back into how this concept relates to color analysis. So if you are on YouTube, you see that I am decked out in some beautiful different shades of pink today. And I feel really good. I can't lie to you, selfishly, I feel beautiful in this outfit. And what's really funny is that this sweater has been sitting in my closet for a long time, like longer than I would like to admit. It's been sitting there, and I didn't necessarily think it looked great on me because most of the time I will do my makeup first, then I will get dressed, then I will accessorize. And my makeup was far too warm. I was overcompensating in my makeup because I was going the warm route and I have cool undertones. And so then when I would put this shirt on, it wouldn't look right. It didn't match. Something looked off. So instead, I would take the shirt off, leave the incorrect color makeup on, pick another color that really does not look good on my skin tone, and then I would go throughout the day feeling okay. I was put together. I looked fine. Today, I feel like I look great. I looked good this morning, and then I put lipstick on that is the right color for me. Now I feel great. And the really cool part is that I woke up and it took me less than 5 minutes to get ready. Throw on a light coat of makeup that is in my natural shade. So it not only covers better because it matches my skin tone better, but it's a whole lot lighter. It's better for my skin. And then I went to my closet, found a shirt that I know is in my color wheel that looks best on me, put it on. The two things finally matched. And then I was able to find a fun accessory that was also in my color wheel. And even though they're not the same color pink, all three of them harmonize really well. They work really well together. They make me look well-rounded. They make me look, honestly, alive and bright. I'll put it up on the screen here because it's honestly a little bit embarrassing. The biggest just wrong color that I was wearing. I don't want to say bad because it's the same with food, right? Colors don't have morality, and maybe you love a color. I am mourning the loss of moss green in my closet. Okay. I love the color. It does not love me back. And I would wear this so often and not realize that there was a whole other world of color out there waiting for me to illuminate my natural features. Whereas that color that I loved was drowning me out and it was overpowering who I am. Your body, the food that you eat, works the same way, the exact same way, my friend. When you are eating to lose weight, to fit in a certain size of clothing, to impress somebody, you are working for something that is overpowering you. When you are working and eating and exercising in a way that honors your body structure, your metabolism, your health history, your goals, you are eating and moving in a way that highlights, it accentuates the natural uniqueness and beauty of you. Your body will feel so much more beautiful when you achieve those goals versus when you are working for a goal that simply isn't right for you. So what do color analysis and nutrition counseling have in common? Absolutely nothing and almost everything all at the same time. As I'm recording this, tomorrow is February 1st. I want you to be real honest with me for a second. Are you still doing the habits that you committed to on January 1st? Or have you already lost sight of some of them? Did you fall off the wagon one day and then it was really hard to get back on the next, and so it just kind of didn't happen anymore? Sounds about right. That's what happens every year with resolutions. Now, we've talked about resolutions versus intentions, and hopefully you still have your card that we talked about a couple of weeks ago with your words for 2023 that are your intentions. Remember, mine are to live strong, joyful, and present. Hopefully you still have yours sitting in a place where you can see it every single day. But if you don't, if you have lost the momentum, if you have lost that spark and the zest that you had at the beginning of the year to hit those goals, and now you're struggling a little bit to get back on the bandwagon, and you're wondering, what is even the point? Because if I didn't last 31 days, how the heck am I supposed to stick to something for longer? I want you to know that you're not alone. And I also want you to know that this is incredibly normal because of the way that you have been taught to think about these things. Friend, there is a way for you to reach those goals faster, to split the effort so that it doesn't feel so heavy. The other side of that 100% effort towards one goal is that it feels really heavy. That is a narrow path to travel. When you have two narrow paths next to each other, the width for that grows. Your ability to cross over the line a little bit grows. You're not going to hit a hard exterior if you have more space to play inside of those boundaries. That's what happens when you work towards these goals in a sustainable way, in a way that honors your unique metabolism and health history. And that's exactly what happens when you work inside a customized nutrition counseling program. Now, that's not the best fit for everyone, right? Not everyone has the time or the mental capacity to commit to a 12-week intensive deep dive into their health. And that's fine. What you do have the capability to do is commit to one thing at a time, one habit at a time that helps you reach that end goal. Starting tomorrow, you can do that inside a really safe and secure place for a really affordable investment. Revamp Camp is an accountability group where you are going to get one-on-one personalized support in a less touch point zone. What that means is that you are going to get enough support to propel you towards your goals, but not so much that you feel overwhelmed. And the real value of that is that you will have the mindset, the tools, and the support to achieve those goals and sustain them for longer. Imagine it being September of this coming year. You are on vacation, the last of the summer, with your family. It's Labor Day. You're at the pool just before it closes for the season. You have on a really fun and flirty cover-up because it was cute, and you slip it off and jump in the pool in a cannonball as soon as your little boy calls out and says, "Hey, Mom, come and play with me." Before, you would have never slipped off that cover up, and it probably would have been a little bit more bland because instead of buying it because it was cute, you were buying it for the sole purpose to cover your body. Now, after several months of the same habits over and over, the accountability and support to help you get to that goal, you feel confident, strong, and sexy in that body of yours, and you don't even think twice about slipping off that cover up and jumping in to make the last memories of summer with the person that you love more than anything in the world. And if that is the picture that you want to see, now is the time to invest in yourself, to invest the time, the mental space, to accept some help with recipe planning, with the accountability, even with deciding what habits you need to implement to get to your goals. And you can do it all for just $20 a month. The link to join Revamp Camp is going to be in the show notes of this episode. And the really cool news is that you can join anytime you want, as well as cancel anytime you need. There is a 10-day cancellation notice policy, but other than that, you can join and leave whenever you need. You don't have to feel stuck and committed to something for longer than you need. So you can come for the inspiration, stick around for the results that you're seeing, and tap out when you've reached exactly what you need. That is what you can have throughout the rest of this year by investing a small amount of time, a small amount of money, and a small amount of effort in the kitchen and the grocery store for the next several months. If this is something you're interested in, go ahead and sign up. There are limited spaces available for this. If you want to know if it's a good fit and you need to make sure that this is the right thing for you before you move forward, my contact information is in the show notes. Go ahead and reach out via Instagram DM or text message. We can chat a little bit more to make sure that this is the best fit for you moving forward, or if, like a color analysis, that full nutrition counseling program could be the best way to get you off to a really strong start this year. I'm so proud of you for being here today, for showing up for yourself, investing the time and the mental space into thinking about your wellness and how you want to live and feel at 50, 60, 80 years old. And for those of you interested, I am also going to link Victoria's Instagram handle in the show notes so that you can check her out as well if you want. It truly was just such a fun experience, and I wanted to bring a little bit of that joy that it's given me into this episode today because, man, it's just so fun to feel like your most beautiful self simply by making small tweaks and choices every single day. So, without further ado, I will let you go until next time, my friend. Thanks for sticking around today. I will see you soon. Thank you for being a part of this conversation today. By sharing with just one friend, you are not only showing the people that you love that you care about them, but you are helping this message that healthy does not have to be so hard reach hundreds of other people. Be sure to check out the show notes and visit www.bewellhwc.com for more information and to subscribe to the show so that you get notified every time there is a new episode available for you to learn more health tips and help you achieve your healthiest self. I cannot wait to sit down and chat with you again so soon. Until then, stay well.